What's going on, guys? Joe Butler here today, and today's video, something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing something a bit more educational, no fancy editing, but a topic that I think a lot of people are going to benefit from, and it is how to plan your meals around your day. Okay, and this is about meal timings, what kind of meals to eat when and why and stuff like that. It's a question that I get asked a lot. A lot of people ask me, oh, when should I have this meal? Is it okay to have this meal before I go to bed? All them kind of questions, and I'm going to hopefully answer all of them. I've even got a whiteboard. It's a little bit scruffy, but it does the job. And yeah, so I'm going to start with the first topic is going to be how to write a schedule. All right. So what I mean by how to write a schedule is, let's say you kind of know what you're going to eat, or you kind of know what meals you're going to eat and when. So first thing I get to do is write down your schedule. All right. So let's just say you wake up at 7 a.m. All right. So you wake up. All right. And then you have a break at, let's say 10 a.m. And then at 12, you have lunch. 3, you have another break. And then you train at, say, am I going down there far enough? Can you see me? 5, you have training. And then, let's say 7 is dinner. And then 10 is bed. Okay? So let's just say you have all of these things written down, and this is like your daily schedule. Okay, so what I like to do is start with, for everyone that's starting out, you aren't used to training yet, and you just need to get into a regular eating pattern. So I always say oh, by the way, excuse my handwriting, I'm not very good with handwriting. So I usually say start with 3 meals and 2 snacks, all right? So myself, I eat between sort of 5-6 meals a day, but that's because I've been training for years. I find it easier to eat that many meals because I get really hungry in between, I just get hungrier. So if I ate 3 meals, I'd get too hungry. Do you know what I mean? Okay, so we start with 3 meals and 2 snacks. All right, so meal 1, you say have here. So meal 1 is breakfast, and then and then you've got your break at 10, so you have a snack that's going to fill you up. So you put snack here. 12 is your lunch, so you have meal 2, and then meal 3. Another snack there at this break here. So this snack would not only act as something that's going to fill you up, but it's also hopefully going to act as your workout. So you're going to put pre-workout, and then, so that's your snack number 2, and then you're going to train, and then you have your dinner. Well, you're going to have your dinner between 6 and 7. Okay, so that's that. All right. So one thing I don't like people to do is leave too big a gaps between meals, and this is going to have a negative effect on the way that your body metabolizes the food. So it is good to regularly keep the body full. And obviously, one thing I will say is that you want to try and get protein in every single meal. So you want to try and get a handful of protein from meal 1, meal 2, and meal 3. Okay? So a big topic that people ask me is carbs. All right? So I want to cover carbs. So we usually, upon wakening, a lot of people aren't hungry. Okay? So they only need a sort of small snack to get them going. All right? So in the morning, if you're really not hungry and you don't like to eat, don't skip breakfast. That's not what I want you to do. I will put this down for now. So meal 1, I always say at least get something in the system. All right. So your body's been fasting for over 8 hours if you've slept that much and you've not eaten anything all night. So you need to get something in the system to get the body fired up, ready to start the day. Okay. So what I would recommend is I like to have a protein shake. All right. So every morning I'll wake up, and if I'm not hungry and I've got to be somewhere early in the morning, I'll have a protein shake with a banana and some oatmeal in it, all right? Now, obviously, depending on what kind of diet you're on, you might not have any carbs in the protein shake, which is fine. You can have a higher fat meal to start the day. So you can have protein, some milk, and, a little bit of peanut butter or whatever, okay? And then about 10, 11 o'clock, most people find themselves really hungry, especially if you skip breakfast, which you're not meant to do. But if you have, you're going to find yourself really hungry at 10, 11. And the problem is when you find yourself really hungry, you start craving all sorts of food. All right, so, you know, if there is a bacon butty or a sausage butty going, you'll probably want to have that. All right, but that's not what we want to do. So we want to aim to get our snacks. So we have our breakfast and then we go to our snacks. All right, so our snacks, I don't know, I give people different snacks. So for instance, a snack might be rice cakes. I don't even know to put it in, but it could be rice cakes and banana with a little bit of honey in. All right, so that could be your snack meal too. All right, and then lunch comes around. So you're gonna have your lunch at like 12 o'clock. And then for your lunch, now depending on when you're gonna train, if you're gonna train, and this is bearing in mind you're training in the afternoon, for the lunch, I would always aim for the lower carbs, more of the high vegetable sort of salady meal, because you've already got the carbs from the snack in the morning. So your meal 2, which is gonna be your lunch, that doesn't need to be high in carbs, because we're going to then go on to the snack number 2, which is going to be your pre-workout snack. That's where we're going to put some more carbs in. All right, carbs are essential for fuel, for training, for energy levels. So, you know, for that snack number 2, you could have a bowl of oats, or you can have, oh, there's loads I could go on. But what I'm saying is that you're going to have, you could have even a protein bar if you want, but you want to have a little carby snack just before you train, okay? And then you're gonna go and train, all right? So you're gonna go and train within the next hour, 2 hours, whenever you feel, or whenever your schedule fits around that. But make sure you're getting something in about 2 hours maximum, 2-3 hours maximum before you train, okay? With some carbs in, all right? Then you're gonna go on to meal 3, all right? So your meal 3 is your post-workout meal. Now, if you're not eating 3 meals a day, or you're having 3 snacks a day, you can obviously eat something like, a protein shake and a banana straight after you train. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is within the first hour of you training, you want to try and get some form of protein and carb into the system to replenish the muscles after you've broken them down, to get them repairing straight away. All right, so after you've had your training session, get yourself a little, like either depends on when you train. You don't want to have your last meal straight after you train at 6 o'clock and then not eat anything all evening, because you're going to get hungry at night. All right, so if that's the case and you're going to train at 5 and you're going to eat at 6, you don't want to leave it too late, because you, like I say, you're just going to end up snacking on crap. All right, so what you're going to do, you're going to finish your training session. Keep dropping this board. You're going to finish the training session and you're going to get something in your system straight away. Like I said, a balance between carbs and protein. Now, if it is late in the evening, you can have your last meal. But after you've had that meal, you're going to go on to, after you've had that snack, you're going to go into your final meal. All right, so your meal number 3. If you're only eating 3 meals, you're going to go into meal number 3, which I would recommend 1 to 2 hours before bed to allow digestion, but not a prolonged amount of time that you get hungry before bed, because there's nothing worse than going to bed hungry. Now, in terms of carbs before bed, and obviously, you know, that's a big thing. A lot of people say don't eat carbs after 6 p.m. and all that kind of stuff, which it doesn't matter. A calorie deficit is a calorie deficit. This is for people that are losing weight. So if you're on a calorie deficit and you're trying to lose weight, if you eat a carby meal before you go to bed, it isn't going to make the slightest difference. Now, what I mean by carby meal though, right? I'm not talking, if you're having a big carby meal, a kind of carby meal that I recommend is a slower digesting carb, all right? So your sort of sweet potato, brown rice, whole wheat pasta. This kind of carb is good because it's slower digesting and it's not going to have an impact on too much on your digestion before you go to sleep, all right? That's like the baseline. So you're gonna have like meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, some snacks in between. You know, you can have, you're making sure you're gonna get something in straight after you train. And lastly, guys, I have to do this myself. Right, there's one thing that a lot of people do, and they don't eat nowhere near as much as they should do. So what I do suggest is that you set mini alarms just to start with until you get into a healthy routine, and just set alarms that are going to basically remind you that you need to eat. Now, I have to do that sometimes because our days, especially during lockdown, our days are especially like filled with all sorts of distractions, and then we lose track of what we're doing, and then we've just realized, oh wow, I've not eaten in like 4 or 5 hours, which isn't really good for the body either, especially if you're trying to obviously, you know, build muscle and repair tissue and stuff like that. So the body needs to be in an anabolic state where it's just being fed protein on a smaller dosages but spread out through the day. So yeah, I like to set meal alarms, which kind of helps too. All right. So I hope I've covered a few topics there. This is the first educational video I've done, so it's maybe a little bit all over the place, but all the information that I said there is hopefully relevant to you and you can take something away from it. All right, guys, take care and I'll see you again soon.